Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 238, or 238. It feels so good. Back in the church room bar. We were just, pre-production was epic today, just reminiscing about old times and hot weather.
Vacations and fighting when it's okay to fight with your spouse.
When is it? Yeah, it's okay to fight with your spouse one time at Disney. That's my take.
And 3 minutes ago, I wanted to hit the record button because it makes me thirsty. But we had to put a bow on the conversation.
Yeah, it was nice. It was organic, but
it was very organic.
We'll revisit it. We'll revisit it again. So, man, we're in the throes of summer now.
We are.
We are in prime beer on the lawnmower. If you have a riding mower,
I do.
I don't.
You have to.
I don't.
Oh,
I don't. I'm like my yard's like right in between the two. But we're there. We're at the All-Star break for baseball, so it'll be a while before you can go to the game and have a beer again, unless you can afford All-Star game tickets.
Is that expensive?
I would think it is.
And I totally forgot. Will you grab 2 glasses? I need
2
glasses from just the 2 little guys. I thought about going to an All-Star game. I have a lot of friends that when they opened Miller Park in 2001 that went to the All-Star game. The All-Star game that ended in a tie, by the way. But I don't know if it's expensive because this year, where is it?
This year, I know this. But I forgot.
Is it Seattle again?
Yeah, Seattle.
Okay.
That's right.
So Seattle's a little more expensive anyways. I've heard great things about that field. There was WrestleMania at that field. But it's getting a little bit older, too. And I say this because they're already talking. Miller Park has been open now for 22 years. They're already talking about raising more money to retrofit the stadium. It's crazy.
Retrofit it to what?
To more amenities
and technology?
More.
Yeah, so they're
more and higher, better, faster.
I did hear that they're gonna a DraftKings betting sportsbook location just opened up inside Wrigley Field.
Yep.
Now I did hear that they are going to fit all of the standard seats with betting modules. So the bleachers I think will be not included in that. So every seat, the seat back of the person in front of you will have a betting module. You can do in-game betting in stadium.
That's crazy.
I think that will cause problems, but I think they'll figure it out. And so there is a DraftKings Sportsbook inside Wrigley Field now. Illinois is just embracing.
I'm down on sports betting this year, single game sports betting in baseball, but I'm up in horse racing. So I'm like $50 plus out of the two.
Yeah, that's not because you're a reasonable gambler.
Yeah, it's just like $2
you don't let it get away from you. No, you don't let it get. Some people let it get away from them. But so I do remember when the White Sox hosted the All-Star game. I don't remember when the Cubs did because I think it was 1990 when the Cubs did last. And they're due. Let's do an All-Star game in Wrigleyville. New owners, the neighborhood's changed a lot. Anyway, when the White Sox did it,
there's a Taco Bell right there.
No, that's gone.
Well,
that's a parking garage now.
Now I don't want. Yeah. I wish them nothing but abhorrent.
So, like, the Ricketts own basically everything now in that neighborhood.
They've just bought up.
They just bought everything. There's a hotel, like a really ritzy one. There's like a whole, it's called Gallagher Way. I'm not sure if that's a sponsor or if that's a person.
Yeah.
But it's like, you could play catch with your dad, in front of Wrigley Field, or go see the World Series trophy and ring, stuff like that.
What a treat that would be.
What a treat.
Have you ever been to the Langham? That's the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at. It's in downtown Chicago. It's right on the river.
No. Been to the W in Chicago. That was a nice place.
Yeah.
The nicest place I've ever been, well, the nicest vacation I ever took was Cancun, but I don't know if that was the nicest hotel.
Yeah, the nicest hotel.
Probably.
And that was for Joey's bachelor party. You know Joey from WrestleMania weekend. It was for his bachelor party.
Wow.
Like he had a poker dealer come, bring his own
sweet.
table. Like we had to request a fridge because the coolers were too much. So they rolled up a fridge.
That's pretty sweet. The best bed I ever slept on in a hotel was in Gulfport, Mississippi. Oddly enough, in a Navy, what do they call them? Navy, I can't remember.
Hot rack.
Navy, it's like a hotel, but only on Navy base. It's like the NEX, but it's like lodging.
So it's not their billeting.
No. It's literally a hotel. I can't remember what it's called.
It's like, people that travel to Hawaii, the undisclosed secret is Bellows Air Station.
Oh, okay.
Like, no one knows to go to the opposite side of the island because all it is lodging. The commander of the air station is a major, which is unheard of to have somebody solo raking. But it's just, a nice R&R. It's a little out of the way, but the beaches, they're private beaches just for the military members. Nice. But yeah, check out Bellows, especially if you're a military member. The other one is the San Diego base. That's only for military and retirees. It's right on the water. It was a Navy base, but they've converted it into like just a lodging.
Oh, okay. That's I think the old boot camp.
That sounds about right. Is it on an island? I think it's on
you're talking about an island? That's Coronado, but that's still a Navy base.
No. This is one just for maybe it's not. Okay. That's great.
Well, Coronado's cool
where you come here for your hyper specific.
If you want to feel tiny as a human, I always want to feel other than going to space, I think driving near or walking past an aircraft carrier will do the trick.
Oh, yeah.
You know how, like, you think the universe is so vast, I'm just a tiny dot. Or, like, Horton Hears a Who kind of thing.
Well, it's like walking next to a cruise ship.
That, too.
Yeah. It's just because a cruise ship, both of them are so, like, and both of them, I think the world's largest cruise ship is they're doing water testing right now. I think it's January of 24. It's going to be 6,400 people.
That's too many.
22 decks. The biggest one I've ever been on is only 16 decks.
How many above water?
So that's going to be 4 below and...
Just 4?
Just 4 below.
Wow.
It's amazing how vertical they're going with these ships.
Yeah, that's crazy. That
Again, I love
so
cruising.
Buoyant. Holy crap. So much weight. We could talk about ships all day. Just a ship.
Come here for your hot ship talk.
Hot ship talk. Hot ship talk. That's a good name.
Hot ship talk. I was thinking, a beer-related question. Do you have any beer memories that revolve around a beer, like one beer specifically?
Any memories that revolve around one specific beer?
Yeah.
I could probably conjure up a few. I know for a fact that every time...
Or a moment that, like the beer was the centerpiece.
Oh, was the centerpiece? Well, This first story won't be that. It'll be more of a memory that surrounds the beer. But I'll think of the beer centerpiece one here soon. But when I first got here, I think it may be a year... No, actually, it wasn't when I got here. When I first met you guys.
Yep.
2015, 2016, somewhere around there. Randy Orton moved across town. And he needed help. And only Chuck and I showed up. I don't know if Chuck has a podcast nickname.
Hoff,
okay.
Funny enough, I'm having drinks with Hoff on Wednesday.
Well, Hoff and I showed up.
That's why I was, circling the drink with you on when you were leaving town.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow night. So Hoff and I showed up to help Randy Orton. And Randy Orton, he project manages everything. Yeah. So he had, like, bins stacked in the garage. Like, it wasn't a complicated move. It was just a lot of work. And halfway through, Hoff had... I wasn't really into craft beer yet. He had pulled out a bunch of Truth, and that shit blew my mind. I was like, whoa, this is a really, really good IPA. Probably the first one I actually liked. And every time I drink a Truth, I'd say every time. I do have a slight memory and thought of Hoff. So,
interesting.
I drink a lot of Truth.
We're going to go on this while we have this beer. This beer had no head on it, and that cap came off really easy, so maybe that will come into...
no head at all.
This comes from Hoof Hearted Brewing. This is a mixed culture saison fermented in red wine barrels, and it's called Maxi, Jojo, Corvette, Candi.
I like it. That's a good name.
So that's quite a name. And this comes from Chuggalos Stev. So anyways, while we ruminate on this, I didn't want to go too parched for the longest time. I wonder when he asked you, because I think it was 2014 or 2015. It definitely wasn't 2016 when we met.
No, we met in 2015. I know because of when I got hired.
But Randy Orton wasn't in that room.
No, he wasn't. But he was helping grow the IAI team.
Oh,
and I was one of the people he recruited.
Yeah. Okay, because now I felt bad for not helping.
No. Him and Jen had helped recruit me away from the room I was in, and then we had breakfast taco day. Yeah, I don't think this beer's any good. But
you noticed, like, it came off like right away.
Yeah. I mean, it's very horrible.
Maybe he punked us. Maybe because that came off like really easy. Stev, I know you'll respond. Like, That came off.
This is from Steph?
Yeah, I got it.
I didn't know if this was from him or the guy you bottled that beer from.
Nope, this is from Steph. I wanted to get to it.
Oh, man. I feel like maybe this needed like a few rolls or maybe a pink can shake for about 30 minutes.
Is there sediment on the bottom?
I don't know. But I don't know if you're tasting what I'm tasting, but I'm tasting about...
Well, I'm not worried about shaking it up because there was no head on it. Yeah, because
there's nothing going on there. I don't think he punked us.
No, he's not the type
to punk.
It's not his style, but it's... Yeah, like there's no... Okay. Anyways, we'll
that's all right. We'll do this.
We'll still do it because, again, you still have to have all bad beer.
But you've tasted it.
Yeah.
And you agree
so it's a 5%
saison wrong here.
5%
saison. I have to say, this does not taste like a saison.
I'm wondering if something happened to this. Steph, what was the condition of this? Because that came off really...
Yeah, interesting. Well, I can at least show the bottle. I don't have to do the can art right away, but I can show the bottle.
There is something...
Ooh, that punch.
Shenanigans.
That is a pronounced punt.
Shenanigans and chicanery with this beer.
Here's the punt.
So if you go to their website at hoofhearted.com, it says, and we've done Hoof Hearted on this, more hops than brains. No hops in this one. This is...
no hops.
This can't be...
I don't think this is the state that they prefer. Although $7 for this nice big beer, that might be what it tastes like.
What happened, Steph? I can see why he bought it for us, though. This is not This is not a Steph beer.
No, it's not.
And the fact that it's fermented in red wine barrels, so that mutes it a little bit, but there's so much like funk to this, unintended funk. I don't know.
Well, we think it's unintended.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
So when I was drafting it, while I was drafting this question in my head, I was thinking of like memorable beers. And the first one that comes to mind is I was drinking a banana bread beer, and I got called a bitch, and I was told that's a bitch beer, and this is the first time I ever met this person, and I was like, wow, that because I was in the nummy beer phase, like I like nummy beers, and we all know people like that. I'm still have tendencies to drink nummy beer. But I was like, wow, and just right off the top rope. And that was Chuggalo Aaron. And it was hilarious because the first thing he ever said to me was a significant insult. Yes,
he has strong opinions about different types of beer and the type of people who would drink them.
Yeah.
However, when he's outnumbered, he doesn't share those opinions.
It's the hilarious thing of it though is he picks his spots. It's not consistent. Like he's not like I'm consistently an asshole. He is not that person.
Yeah.
And I'm trying
That's
to
true.
amend your assessment with what I've thought about it. But we've drank, one-on-one, or like I drank with his wife and myself, and I've ordered something like that most people wouldn't get, be it a fruited sour or something like that. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's what you got. But we'll go after whales together.
I think maybe it's
which is ironic.
It's a time thing. Maybe now he respects your decision to drink them because you can intelligently pick that beer apart.
Are we talking about
sour?
Are we talking about me or are we talking about someone else? Because I can't do anything intelligently.
Yeah. You could do that. You could pick apart a sour pretty well. And I think his distaste for him is kind of just this umbrella distaste, whereas you can pinpoint what you do and don't like about a sour. So I think at this point you've surpassed his sour.
Yeah.
Knowledge, I guess.
It's interesting. So there's so many things here. So that's
I think he's just gained some respect for your taste buds.
It could be
maybe. He does have.
You always see the nice in people.
I don't think you're always an asshole. He definitely will read the room. I've only had a few conversations with him, but
another one. So another beer. While you're still thinking, is my first 120 minute, and the reason why I bring this up is. Barrel House went through and took pictures of what they have in their cellar.
Oh.
And they have a 2015 120 minute. I have a couple 2015s. And they were asked when they were going to crack it, and they said they're going to wait till 2025 on that one.
Okay.
But they got a couple of barley wines. As you guys may remember from the first year of the calendar, probably the best beer that we've had out of both calendars so far was the AleSmith 2012 Decadence.
Yeah.
which they have a history. They like to wait 10 years and crack their beers. So, I can't wait for that. I will pay whatever it costs to have that on price point.
And how is that served? In a shot?
No, that's going to be in a.
It'll be split up, right?
4 to 5. Yeah, they won't pour that as a pint. They can't legally.
Well, okay.
Not in Ohio. You can't pour something that high grav.
Yeah, I assume it would be best to split.
No, well, it's going to be on tap.
Oh, they have a 2015 120-minute keg?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Let me know. I want to go.
Right? So follow the Barrel House. So they went after it, like, again, and they like to wait 10 years, and they have like a old ale from I don't think it's Scrimshaw. They have a couple of whales down there. And another reason I bring that up is other people are asking about the advent calendar for this year, and they're like, are you going to make sure there's whales in there? And I would say that, AleSmith Decadence was a whale. Last year, I don't know if the beer that we decided to all do together would be considered a whale.
No.
But the Decadence definitely was for the price point. I mean, we've paid price point, but whether or not, because we had a $30, $32 beer last year. Believe me, I would love to have 5 whales in there.
I would too.
Like,
and maybe some of these beers we need to find just you and I somewhere else. And add them to that calendar.
And that's part of why I want to get the numbers ahead of time to give her to Sarah and be like, hey, like we're up in our game. We want desirables. You know.
And we might want one California Commons in there.
Yeah, just
Chicago Commons, whatever.
Because you can't have the sweet without the sour.
You got to have some shit.
Yeah.
To realize that life is good.
It's funny that you say that. Anchor Steam just got bought out.
Did they?
Yeah, by a Japanese company.
We
don't do beer news as much anymore because
we don't do beer news as much.
I still just get a bunch of brewery emails from the brewery.
Sometimes it felt like we were reaching.
Yeah.
But I have been exploring the idea of doing like getting rid of the beer news and doing like a social media post of the day.
Yeah.
And I'll search.
Like the Busch
The problem is that I search for. So I tried this last week and I tried it this week. I search Instagram for beer, just general beer, and just see, okay, what's a good post that could like win the week?
Yeah.
It's all women. Just they'll have like a pint glass and then their tits like, not the nipples out, but most of the other parts of
pretty much the areolas.
The boobs.
Yeah.
Just without the areolas.
And then you make in your pants.
That's right. And then I go to Twitter, and Twitter is probably the best source to find like a social media post, but I don't think there's as many beer people on Twitter as Instagram.
Are we going to drain pour this?
And then Facebook just garbage.
Are you done drinking this?
I would prefer not to, but if you want me to, I mean, I'll respect the...
Are we going to call an audible? I'm going to reseal this, and next time Steb comes over...
Okay, Steb, you're going to get a little taste.
You're going to get a little taste. Believe me, I don't think I'm polluting it very much at all.
No, but I will do the can art boner real quick. The can art boner segment, Maxi, JoJo, Corvette, Candi. It's it seems to be some sort of fetish style... I'm not sure if I could say prostitution because this doesn't necessarily say that. There's no money on the bottle, but there's handcuffs, there's gold jewelry, there's an ashtray, old school ashtray with a cigarette in it. Looks like a Virginia Slim, a real long cigarette there. Then a nail polish that's been dumped over, a collar with spikes, an engagement ring, lipstick that's open, and a high heel, very high heel. So that's the can art. So that would scream probably sexual fetish.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's probably what that is. Some sort of like 80s style sexual fetish. And that's the can art. Hand-drawn, not photorealistic or anything like that.
Out of respect for Hoof Hearted and out of more respect to Chuggalos Dev, we're not going to rate this beer.
Okay.
This is not how this beer was intended to be drank.
I don't think so.
It's not fair to either one of those two because we hold both entities, both parties in a high regard. And Steph, this will be the next beer that you will have when you come over to the Church Room Bar.
Yeah, this beer might have just had a fate, and its fate was reached.
And if I don't see you, there will be a creative way that I will get it to. Number 2 beer.
He'll see you.
This beer
Ooh,
we've got multiple sponsors. We finally wanted to get to this. JT, where did this beer come from?
Where did this beer come from? This beer came from Ohio. Brewed and canned by Sibling Revelry Brewing.
How did I get this beer, though, JT?
Oh. I didn't give this beer
JT
to you.
Gave me this beer for my birthday.
Give you this? I did?
This was my birthday. You found 4 10% beers.
That's right, I did.
You put a lot of thought into this. The researching this beer was a fucking pain in my ass. So it's interesting that on this occasion, because you just had your birthday, so I said we're going to do this one on the podcast. You were all for it.
Sweet.
Maybe it was great that we didn't do this one. So this is Do the Universe.
Yep.
And I'm going to buy JT a little bit of time. I want to know if there was more to it besides the fact that it was a 10% beer and there was 4 of it to commemorate my 40th birthday. So this is brewed and canned by Sibling Revelry Brewing for the Jolly Scholar Brewing Company. So Jolly Scholar must have rented a little bit of a line off Sibling Revelry. And both of them are in the Cleveland area. One's in Westlake. So the Cleveland municipality area and then Cleveland proper. But this is a triple IPA coming in at 10%. This one's sealed. So if there is something wrong with this one,
it's on that.
Then I don't know. Maybe there's in cahoots, but we never know. Oh, this is primed.
Oh man, who is this guy?
Are you?
Oh man, super primed.
This is. By the way, primed in the news.
Like the drink?
Yep. But we'll go with the crack. 3, 2, 1.
I'm glad your kids aren't old enough yet to annoy you with bullshit like that.
So Senator Schumer is going after a prime drink.
Oh, is he?
And he coined a new phrase. I think unintentionally he said a cauldron of caffeine. I didn't realize it's 200 milligrams of caffeine in a 12-ounce can. So it's. But
that's the primed energy. They have a sports drink as well.
And that's what they said, that they're like, we don't advertise to kids.
Mm-hmm. And that's the bottom. But they do, because it's like
because they have
Jonas Brothers or whatever.
Because they the Paul brothers.
I know. Yeah, the Paul brothers.
Sorry.
Who are like total scam artists, by the way.
Yeah. And then the ones Jake is quite a good wrestler.
Yeah. I think the matches. I'm not saying that all of his qualities are terrible. But in his marketing, he's a piece of shit.
But I'm excited to get the taste of that unintended taste off my palate and go with this triple IPA. Oh, by the way, 85 ABUs, so it's going to be very hop forward, I'm guessing.
Hop forward. 85 ABUs. Triple IPA is going to give you...
IBUs, not ABUs. I'm saying ABUs.
Triple
IBUs.
malt is what that is. I learned this at least from Chuggalos Phil, and he had said, that's why you get the higher alcohol content in the doubles and triples. Now, not double dry hopped or triple dry hopped. That's different. That's triple the hop process, triple the hop process, double the hop process. This is triple the malt. So it's kind of deceiving in a way. It should be called a double malted IPA, triple malted IPA.
Are you guessing that's not as sexy and that's the reason that they do it?
Maybe. Or maybe they expect, there's a level of pretentiousness in craft beer. Maybe they expect the drinker to know.
Yeah.
But we're past that. We're way past that. Everyone drinks craft beer now. And some people don't know what they're drinking. They say, I'll take that triple IPA. It sounds good. It's called Dew of the Universe. I want to try that. And then they get fucked up. Because they don't know.
I could see immediate one drink in. I could see where this would fuck people up.
The question
I don't think this hides the 10%.
Oh, I think it hides it. But I'll taste it more. I still have a lot of vinegar on my tongue from that previous beer.
Right.
But I will admit that before knowing about the difference between a triple IPA and a triple hopped IPA, I thought it was hops, triple the hops. And that's why I'd always go into it thinking, I'd be like, DDH. Oh, this isn't as hoppy as I thought it would be. Yeah, like a DDH. Yeah.
Or a TDH.
But this, and then I'd be like, whoa, what the hell? But now I know the truth. I don't think I have. What would be the point of that? Maybe.
I know pauses don't translate very well, but has anyone out there in Chuggalo land seen a triple dry hopped?
Or even just triple hopped. I guess you could go...
Sorry, Stacey.
Wet, dry, wet.
Yeah, even Richard couldn't fix the Hoof Hearted. I forgot to mention Richard.
Damn, Richard.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. Does it hide the alcohol? I think it does. This is an interesting can art, which I'll show. Because I have to.
So, technically, because you gifted this beer to me, are you now the sponsor?
I guess.
I think that's...
But it's your birthday, so you're gifting it back to me.
I figured dim the rules.
This is an Indian gift thing. I don't know. Can you still say that? Is that racist?
No. Is that a colloquialism? Original Americans? Original American
that's a good question.
An OAG?
Technically, the term in and of itself.
Indigenous Americans, I think, is.
Yeah. You're indigenous American giving this.
You're going to ask me a bunch of questions? Is that what you were going to do?
Maybe. I do love Stone Cold, man.
I gotta add some more. Hey, if you have ideas for stuff you want to put on the sound box, give us some ideas. Throw us a bone.
Oh yeah, I was gonna also put out a call for action. I'm going to Nashville.
Yeah.
And I would like to know what I should do in Nashville because I made the mistake of going to Louisville without being preempted to do anything special, and I think I might have missed out.
You've never been to Nashville?
No.
So Stacey's we went to Nashville on our year anniversary, so that would have been 9 years ago, with our friends that we met on the honeymoon, which is another hilarious story.
That's fun.
So we did. I don't like country music, but you have to go to all the country bars. Mm-hmm. The one thing you're going to notice, even though you're there for different reasons, all the floors of the bars now are plywood. So this gives you an opportunity to ask, why would you do that? But I think it's easy. We came up because her friends. My wife's best friends just got back before we met him in the Dells. And
can I guess before you say?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Dancing. Stomping.
They think
stomp dancing
because it wasn't all dancing bars. They think it's just easier to replace just plain plywood.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's just like straight up unfinished plywood.
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I think plywood, like, I guess it depends. Like, is it just shitty plywood or is it like bar top plywood? Because that's expensive.
Yeah. See, I didn't know if it's CDX or BCX. We didn't get into that. But the one thing that I will say, CDX is it's unfinished on both sides. BCX it's finished on one side.
Oh, okay.
As a fan of live music, you're going to hear everything. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be... So we were at a piano bar, long story short, like $1, $2, request a song. There's people down there that don't budge for $100. So like they would ask like an artist.
Like for a request, you got to give them more than $100.
Yes. And you turn... I said the same thing as you. You turn your head... But everyone's there to be discovered... And these bars are 3 stories, and there's a different artist on each story, and there's bars as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
And one person, they were down there in a group, in a hard drinking, partying group, and they go, "How much to play Freebird?" And they're like $500.
Yeah, because it's Freebird. It's Freebird.
Yeah, because it takes a long time. 5 minutes later, they had $500, and the band played Freebird.
Wow. Well,
there's real money being thrown around.
There's real money being made.
Yeah, being thrown around.
I like to fancy myself as pretty smart on music. I'm not a music theorist or anything, but I really understand like the intricacies, and I have always struggled to find what's great about country music. There's songs that pop up, and I like to make fun of country music, but in reality, like I do understand what a good country song sounds like. I still don't like it, but maybe somebody who's really smart on music could describe to me what
that sounds like a Chuggalo preacher
excellent country music is, and I'm gonna guess that it's the first thing they're gonna say is it can't be this pop country stuff. Well, okay, well that's country now. I'm sorry to tell you that's country now. It's been changed.
I grew up with country. I didn't understand anything else besides country for the first few years of my life. I will say that's the thing, like old time country, not
old time country
pop.
Sure, I get that.
Adjusted Norwegian, like earwig type stuff. Mm-hmm. I will say this about country and jazz: they're the two types of music that originated in the U.S. Everything else, the U.S. like adopted or stole. So that
not punk. I mean, it's a derivative. I know that of rock, but you don't think punk is an American invention?
No.
I guess the Brits maybe.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna give it to America. We're better at it.
We're better. It doesn't matter if you're. I mean, I would argue we're better at rock too. But
Yeah. Okay. I gotta think about it.
Yeah.
I gotta think about it. So there's talented musicians. I'm not trying to take away from talent. I definitely don't want to take away from talent because it's hard to be a talented musician. But I think that
it's not
lyrically, modern country is the lowest common denominator. It is the Walmart of music, lyrically.
I understand
modern day country.
I understand why country artists are still making country in like Darius Rucker or something like that, like Hootie and the Blowfish fame, because country records still sell.
Sure.
Every other genre of music they buy it digitally or whatever, and the piece of the pie that gets the artist is far less. But country, they still move like albums and stuff like that.
Do they really?
That was my theory a couple of years ago.
I think it's streaming still. I think they're still victims of it. I think the only real like physical hardware you're moving is classic rock currently. Maybe jazz. You know, collect music connoisseurs who collect
vinyl,
yeah.
Vinyl now outsells CDs.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could see that.
I think last year was the first year that it's flopped or flipped.
Wow. I could see that happening. I mean, art's the key. When I used to buy CDs at random, sometimes I'd be bored in Cuba and I would go to the NEX and I would just find whatever album has the coolest art. Yeah. And I wasted money, a lot of money doing that because I'd hate the music inside. But I think that's one of the cool things about vinyl.
I walked into a Best Buy. Well, I'm co-founder of a vinyl website that now just came back, Dead Format.
It's back?
Yeah, it's back.
Shit, that's OG.
Yeah, that's
OG.
That's before we start. That's before we started throwing the video on. But I've walked into a store before and listened to what was been playing, like Best Buy, and I bought the album. The most famous one I can think of is Guano Apes. Like they didn't become anything, but their song "Proud Like a God." But now, how do you ingest your music? Like what apps are you
Apple
using?
Music.
Yes.
But if I need a band that's lesser known, it's Spotify. Because you can push your own music.
I've never used Spotify. I'm 100%. I'm Pandora or YouTube.
You see, Pandora, I don't feel like Pandora gives enough freedom. And when you have algorithmic suggestions, they're influenced. And record companies have, even though they've been punched in the gut, they have a lot of influence still.
With Pandora, you can do like deep tracks or deep cuts or whatever like that, so you won't hear hits or whatever.
You won't hear hits, but like I want to hear bands that have like 1,000 plays a month. Sometimes that's Spotify. You go to Spotify for that. If you want to hear bands that have been released by a record label, then Apple Music's probably the way to go. They have more. I think they have more songs than anybody. But you won't find some of the artists you will find on Spotify. And Pandora, I don't know. I just don't want... I don't like random in many cases.
I like random. But curated to a certain genre.
I do like that.
I do miss having a Sirius because but I don't drive enough really for the value is Liquid Metal. Liquid Metal is an amazing, where I discovered a few artists and they are heavy rotation in my YouTube.
Every free weekend on Sirius, I try to convince myself that I want it.
Yeah, Memorial.
But I don't. I never do. And I even talked them down to $20 for a year.
Yep.
And I still didn't want it.
I got them down to $3. I said my line in the sand is $3 a month, and they're like, we can get you there, but there's taxes. And I was like, nope, that's going to come out of your hide, not mine. So then get me to $280 or whatever you need to. And they're like, we can't do it. And I was like, call me back when you can. And they've never called back.
Yeah.
My wife still gets the man.
That's weird. I got them to $20 a year, but I'm sure there'd be taxes on that. But
yeah.
All you have to do is say, just always have a list in the back of your mind of obscure bands.
Yep.
Because one thing that you can do with Sirius, because they're very pushy, is you could say, well, you don't play the music I like. They'll ask you what you listen to, and then you say these random obscure bands, and then they'll be like, yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, we have no clue. That was a long tangent off of beer, but beer and music and that type of culture are.
I mean, country music is. Half the songs are about beer.
Yeah.
You ain't country if you don't drink beer. That's a lyric. It's got to be. So I'm going to Nashville. So if you have a good tip on beer related Nashville happenings, I want to know about it. Put it on our Facebook page or our YouTube comments, and I'll check it out.
Again, I don't think
I got days. I got almost a full week of time in Nashville.
You're going to places where I don't recognize them in my small brain as beer places, and that's Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah, well, Louisville has a good craft beer environment, but I was not ready for it. And everywhere we went, they pushed Rheingeist. I don't think it's like Dayton. You can always find local taps. In Dayton, you can find local taps. Cincinnati and Dayton breweries at every restaurant or bar. But it seemed like Louisville, you have to go to the brewery to get really niche stuff. Otherwise, it's Rheingeist.
Yeah,
that was what they were pushing most. And it's because it's 2.5 hours away from Dayton, 1.5 hours away from Cincinnati. They're basically Cincinnati.
It's just science or math. All right, let's go back to. There's so much to talk about with this beer. Yeah. Okay, so it's 2 different breweries, and there's so many cool little tidbits that I want to tell you about. So we'll start with the Jolly Scholar. So the Jolly Scholar is the brewer of this that rented space from Sibling Revelry. Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay, so this is their beer. This is how I'm going to market. This is how it's going to be rated on Untappd. Do you want to know the coolest piece of trivia about
100%? I want to know the coolest.
They are a full-fledged production brewer on the campus of Case Western Reserve University.
No shit.
They're on the campus of a university. Wow. If that doesn't support drinking culture more than all the bars and everything, going to college in Wisconsin, where my hometown, where there's 14 bars in a 2-block radius, and all of them are successful and maintain currency. Okay. So
but they're selling primarily swill.
Swill, Nuclearis does well.
Sure.
And then like mixed sugary drinks.
Yeah.
All right.
But the Jolly Scholar, they're making craft beer.
Yeah. So then Jolly Scholar rented space from Sibling Revelry. Mm-hmm. So the thing that I liked about them, and you can go find out thejollyscholar.com and Sibling Revelry Brewery.com. They've got a VIP group. I love that. Again, if I'm going to consistently go to, like, I wish King's Table had a VIP.
Ooh, that'd be sweet, dude. I would be such a member of that.
Any sort of gimmick. Well, Tanks is having a VIP group.
I'd rather do King's Table.
But again, I need a place that opens before 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
True.
So I like VIP, and theirs is you get like $5 off a pint. You got to make a certain threshold, because even though I'm a part owner of 5th Street, I haven't been there in years.
You should start throwing your weight around in there, because the menu needs updating.
It's such a fringe. Like, I feel bad for those places. I want to support. We threw a lot of money at that place when they had the NFL ticket, and we didn't have kids, so a long time ago. They're chefs, and I know they just replaced their brewmaster here in 2022, but like
the beer's fine.
The percentages, because the food there was dynamite.
It's still
and
good.
Then that guy went to a golf course.
It still tastes good. I just feel like the options don't match the place.
It's such a cool space. I like that.
It's
both
such
the
a
inside,
cool space.
It's inside and out, and it's very bright for a brewer, or bright for.
It wasn't that bright when I went there.
But anyways, I could wax
no, that's good.
On that.
This
but
is good. This is beer related.
Two breweries contributed this beer. The fact that the one is the first brewery that we've had, and the hundreds of beers that we've had on this podcast, that's on a college campus. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But not the first that's been derived from a college campus. I feel like we've had a story, and I'll have to, I don't know, find it somehow. I wish you could search
with all the notes you take,
the text on our YouTube videos. Yeah. I feel like there was a brewery that started because they were brewing in like a dorm, and these just guys became friends.
I'm guessing they met in college. Yeah,
Well, I know.
I know a college where they knocked out a wall between dorm rooms so they could tap the keg. So when the party was in the one, they're like, we have nothing here, because they hid the wall. They had like the cinder block.
Smart.
That's UW0 or UW Oshkosh, because I know people that did that.
Oshkosh Bagosh. That's what people
I'm
say.
almost done with this one.
I don't know what that means. What does revelry mean? What does that word mean?
Pomp and circumstance, like revelry.
Okay,
like
so
a bunch
sibling
of
pomp and
revelry.
circumstance.
Because it's not rivalry.
No, it's not rivalry. Revel.
I found out through a generic search that there's also a sibling revelry podcast. I don't know if it's beer affiliated, or that could just be like a popular phrasing or whatever. But there's also a podcast too.
Other than the guy who does the short beer reviews on YouTube, most beer podcasts and Brew Crew podcasts have not survived the time that we've survived.
There's a couple. We survived. There's a couple of guys that have started since we've been doing it in the local area, mainly Cincinnati or whatever, that are doing like the divey craft beer scene that have a lot more time and production value behind their stubs, or they just make sacrifices elsewhere in their life. I'm not making a point, but put out a pretty good product.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
There was a Brew Crew podcast, but they did coffee. And there was a point where I was like, they seem friendly, and they might last. I think they maybe lasted 6 or 7 episodes.
Yeah,
not long.
You put it that way, and the fact that we're 238 episodes in, plus countless shorts. We're about to do our third advent calendar.
We have. If we could go over the show, maybe like 250 would be a good time to kind of just like rehash everything. But we have like just legitimate characters.
Bring numbers, yeah.
That contribute and come on the show on a pretty, I don't know, drop of a hat, really.
Yeah. We
have a lore. We have just a history. There's nicknames.
Commercial. I have the binder. I've thought about, as like a gimmick or whatever, bringing out old commercials. Because I still have the notes.
God, let's do commercials. Let's plan out commercials. Because every single Thanksgiving season, Randy Orton sends me the Bushkin Spice Latte commercial that he has soundbited. Specifically, just that commercial.
There's so many, like, he's nostalgic like I am, and I will say that, and he won't hear this, but the thing that I always appreciate in our tight group of friends with Hoff, DBC, Randy Orton, is we have this 9/11 flex thing, and I have a bag of Wheat Thins that they sent me on a deployment that was actually bagged on 9/11, and
no way.
That's
awesome.
It's still an active group, and I'm sure I will relive some of this with Hoff. Hoff isn't a listener either. I gave him the choice. By the way, you're going to prep the can art boner segment?
Yeah.
Okay. I gave the choice of Hoff with all of the beer purchases I've made. I sent him some pictures. I go, we can either go to KT, King's Table, or you can come to the Church Room Bar. And he's like, and I sent him pictures. I was like, well, one's really cost effective.
The Hoff has no issues with money, I don't think.
He doesn't, but
he's fine.
Here's the challenge. With all the beer that I bought and I posted on our page, it's tough for me to go out and be like, well, I'm going to spend when I've got all of this stuff.
When you've spent money on beer already, yeah, that's true. But let Hoff, Hoff treat you.
That'd
be fun.
That's not my style.
No, I know. It's none of our styles. We treat ourselves. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the Can Art Boner segment. I showed it. Go back. I don't know, 30 minutes probably at this point. Brought to you by
yourself,
host Chuggalo Matt.
Chuggalo JT.
Because he re-gifted this. He Native American gifted it to me.
Okay, so no, the reason why that doesn't count is like when my father-in-law gives me a beer, and then I bring it on the podcast. That's not from me.
It's from him.
Yeah, see?
But this is your beer. I gave it to you.
Well, he gives it to me.
He gives it to us.
Well, most of them aren't earmarked for the podcast.
Oh, okay. Well,
what?
All right, this is from both of us.
Bottom line.
I'm really curious as to who this guy is. He's wearing very thick spectacles. He's got...
Every time I leave the house, it's spectacles, testicles, wallet, watch.
It's surprising that you do spectacles.
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses? I keep those in the car.
I don't wear a watch. That's the surprising one.
Oh, yeah. Typically, I wouldn't. But now that I don't need to not have it, I know that sounds weird, but
so some people say like my cell phone's my watch, so that's why I'm covered.
Yeah, I check for that, but that you know, I know you don't wear a watch. I wonder if you didn't have the restrictions that you have, if you would wear a smartwatch.
I love
because you like to track things. You're very healthy.
I love gadgets. I've looked at one, and we're not prohibited to wearing one. It's just like that.
But the ones that you can wear fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like if you could do the Samsung or the Apple, I think you're in business. But when you're talking Fitbits and stuff, I don't know. Personally, people like Fitbits, but I don't think they're very good.
Yeah.
You could do this, like you just take it off and flap it in the wind, and it's counting steps. That's fucking stupid. It should know that that's not happening. But the Samsung.
Is this a hot button issue?
No. Well, I had a Fitbit before I got the Apple Watch. I had a Fitbit, and it was a fucking joke. It was like counting steps for like no reason at all. And when I worked at Allstate for that 1 year, they had contests that if you win, there's significant prizes.
I'm glad they tore it down.
Oh, they tore it down?
It's gone.
It's gone?
Yep.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
So
like the Sky Bridge, everything. It's gone. Oh, I know for sure the Sky Bridge is at least one of the buildings.
I thought that they were just drove by one of the buildings.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
So I know that the tech part moved downtown, and they're mostly remote still. But yeah, wow, that's crazy. That building was full of people who didn't do anything.
God, I want that job.
Like, I wish that we could really just take a really deep dive approach at analyzing businesses, big businesses, Fortune 500 companies, and just how much bullshit they have on staff.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who are just like making PowerPoint slides all day. And I don't think that's a real job. No offense to anyone who just makes PowerPoint slides all day. But if those PowerPoint slides come from your mind and not from actual work you've done, like if you're analyzing data or you're managing a team and you're making your PowerPoint slides off that, sure. But if you're just like, PowerPoint slides, I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, Allstate.
They blew it up.
I don't remember how we got onto the Allstate topic. But Dew of the Universe. This is just some sort of scholarly man. He's got a graduation cap, but
like the Jolly Scholar.
The Jolly Scholar. It looks like the Jolly Scholar is the main character on the can.
Yeah.
Even though that's not the main brewer, he's got rubber gloves. He's carrying some test tubes or whatever that bulbous type of thing is.
Beaker.
Is that a beaker?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not a graduated.
It's not a graduated cylinder. It's a bulbous beaker.
Yep.
And then he's got the graduation cap, but he's also got a scientist jacket on, the trench coat thing.
Make sure you cover that because that's a really cool name.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Okay, good.
I didn't see that before.
Yeah, that's
why I'm
why
glad you pointed that out. He's also got one of those belts that you slide the belt into and then like clamp it down. We with the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got one of those.
I've thought about buying one of those.
So I have the click belt. That's way better. Don't get the teeth one.
Oh, okay.
The teeth one is like the canvas. Yeah, I have the ratchet belt. It's really good. It's great. And you'll never know if you're gaining or losing weight ever because it's different every day. You know? Like when you have the belt...
Standard belt, you have like 5 holes.
You know which hole you're in every day because it gets kind of like worn out.
I like to know which hole I'm in.
Yeah, most people do. And then you lose some weight and you're like, oh shit, I'm like 5 holes in now. But you gain some weight. You gain some weight and you're like, oh man, it's 2 holes now. I got to get a new belt because you're always. Here's a tip for the fashionable man who doesn't really understand fashion.
The fashionable man.
You should always be on the middle hole.
Chuggalo Dave is the fashionable man.
Yeah, there's a lot. So there's something called your gig line.
Yep.
You know about that because you're military, but.
And I always wear a tie.
Everything needs to go on the same side. The buttons and the line of your shirt should line up with the belt buckle and the zipper of your pants. And so it should all be aligned. Don't put your belt on the wrong way. And you should always be on the middle part of your belt. Now, if you get the click belt, no one will ever know because it's just the little part that goes like in the hole, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's just ornamental.
Just keep going.
It's just ornamental. I know. There's a lot of sex jokes here. Anyway, he's got the tooth belt kind of thing going on here. He's got a tie. It's very long. You should never wear your tie longer than your belt. That's another tip for the fashionable man who doesn't really know fashion yet.
How's that working with your guy?
You know who wears his belt way too long is Donald Trump.
No, his tie way too long.
What did I say?
His belt way too long.
Oh yeah, his tie is worn far too long. And I've always thought that.
That's on design though.
It is
to
it's
minimize his gut.
Now, if you watch political fashion, the color of the tie will tell you everything you need to know about the candidate and who they're talking to. If you have a Republican candidate on CNN, they'll probably wear some sort of multicolored blue and red tie.
Yeah.
But red for Republicans, blue for Democrats. It's always like that. It's weird. Fucking weirdos. But this tie is way too long. Way too long. But that's really the only issue I take. What kind of knots you got going on there? Maybe a Windsor, double Windsor. Probably pretty thick knot there.
I only know how to tie one tie.
I only know the two, the Windsor and the double Windsor.
Yeah, it took me a long time to figure that out. And then
He's
once
got
I
rubber
did,
gloves.
And I wear a tie every day at work.
Overall, sharply dressed man. He's a scientist. You don't fuck with scientists, especially when they're wearing lab coats. The Jolly Scholar on campus. I don't know what he's mixing up here, but in one hand he's got green, and the other he's got a beer, a pint. But that's the Can Art bonus segment. I think we got enough out of it, right? Brought to you by the Brew Crew podcast.
I love that music for
the beer. Generic IPA with, I think it hides the alcohol. I think it screams triple IPA. Just from how hoppy and how kind of thick it is, how intrusive it is. I don't think it's hoppy in a overly hopped way. I think it's just like, I'm here. I'm bitter. Deal with it. But not 10%. 85 IBUs? Sure. I think so. But this is a really well balanced, not memorable IPA. I think it does its job, gives you what you want without giving you any extra. 3.75, but a good 3.75. If there's a difference.
This is how we know. Like,
I want to go to 4, but like I don't think I can. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't think this hides the booze that well. That's my big disagreement with JT. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, I think we're very similar in our commentary in it. I appreciate the pininess of it, and the fact that my mouth is dry. I've been empty for a little while. I should have just which I dig. This is a perfect birthday beer, and in commemoration of my birthday, I gave this because I would have been here anyways. A 4.0 for 4.0.
Good score.
Off the top rope.
Yeah, would have been a good score.
It's good. I'm glad I have 2 of these left. This is going to be an enjoyable, like sitting there watching MasterChef with the wife.
This is a good like catalyst to a nap beer.
Catalyst to a nap. Oh, I'm so good at that. We've got a little bit of time.
We've got some time. Catalyst to a nap. I'm going to have to do what Matt did last week and break the old school rules and take a piss at some point here. But yeah, I think this beer is good. I think they did a good job. The collaboration part, the one thing I wish that there was more of on these collaboration beers was there needs to be more discussion on the can itself about who did what responsibilities were taken by each different brewer. You collaborated. Did you just come to an agreement and both decide we're going to go equal on all brew elements of this beer, all canning elements of this beer, all labeling elements of this beer? Or was there one party that was like way more dedicated to one part of this beer than the other brewer? I don't know. I'd like to know. Let's start calling people out.
We haven't done a bonus beer in a while. And by the way, don't put your price tags on your freaking things.
You talk about the bonus beer.
This one we're going to split.
Men's room.
And you did an excellent job carrying it. You've done an excellent job of carrying things when I walk off camera. We're not going to rate this one. This one is an Omnipollo Fatamorgana. It's a Imperial India Pale Ale, which is ironic that we bring this up after having a triple, so our palates are going to be wrecked. It's a 12-ounce, 8%er, and we're going to split this 12-ounce can.
3, 2, 1. Oh, you're early.
I did it. You popped before me, so I'm hoping that the vinegarness of the failed Hoof Hearted didn't. And again, I'm not going to put them on blast like I did with the Bat Squatch. But again, nice head. This came from, an inch head, which if you watch like Bar Rescue, that's how it's a perfect beer pour unless it's a Guinness or something like that. But you always want about an inch head or that ratio. And you'll know, like, unlike that Saison that we had, you'll know when you pour a beer into a glass whether or not. I should have used a clean.
I'd like to work the can open into my zipper. So every time I unzip, it just.
I mean, you could put a sound.
That'd be cool.
That's an obvious can. What I should have for the can crack on the
like a zip or a crack. Oh, you need to have a can crack on there. That'd be cool. But the can crack is it's like our thing.
It is. Maybe I should take our most successful one. It's a little bit polluted.
This can art.
So this came from the beer man that I bought all that beer from. Wow. But again, this is just going to be conversation.
Yeah.
It's a good beer though. I think this is my last one.
Omnipollo. What does that mean? Are you familiar with the life and times of Marco Polo?
One chicken.
Or just the game?
That's what Omnipollo is, one chicken.
Omnipollo? Ooh, wow, that's way different than I thought it was going to be. Holy shit.
What were you expecting?
Well, I didn't hear any of what this beer was. I guess Imperial. This tastes weird.
Yeah?
What is that?
It's 100 IBUs, by the way, in this.
Okay. I would say this one's more bitter.
Yep. It all depends. Again, this goes to your balance. IBUs isn't a standard across. It depends on the balance of the hops that you use. Because Citra is more of your Citra notes. Galaxy is more of your body. There's tons of hops, and more keep being created.
Yeah. Ohio hops. Cobra hops.
Good beers in Ohio good beers aren't made with hops from Ohio.
What is that? What are you tasting? Let me just see if I can confirm something here.
Yeah.
Are you tasting a beer that should be darker?
I see what you're saying. It's not as bright.
Yeah, it's not. The color is amazing. The color of this beer is screaming hazy. Look at this beer. That's a hazy IPA right there.
I wish I knew the Born on date.
I wish, man, but the beer is just like, it's like dark. It should be almost like, it should be, what is I don't even know how I could describe the difference here, but dark orange almost. Like a burnt orange.
Burnt orange. Okay.
And this is like hazy IPA. This looks like a hazy, and you taste it, and it's like, this should be the porter of IPAs. Does that help?
Here's a fantastic. This is actually from Sweden.
Oh wow.
Stockholm, Sweden.
Stockholm syndrome.
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
Oh no, I can fill the space.
I'm trying to look up. So again, I bought this, and the most recent people.
You bought this.
I'm just trying to find.
Fatamorgana.
There we go. Okay.
I really like this can art. This can art is great.
This is one of their flagships from this brewery.
This is their flagship.
Yep.
Wow.
So they're still
this beer's blowing my mind.
They're still making it now.
They're basically saying fuck you. This is our flagship.
Yeah, because people are still 26 minutes, 27.
It's not as approachable as like a Truth.
No. The interesting thing though is all of my American friends that have had this beer, the most recent one was 2018.
It's today.
That have posted on Untapped. That know what Untapped is.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Yeah. You keep saying that you're going to be back on there.
I am. I'm going to be back.
That's not going to happen.
I know. I'm trying not to get the badge that's like you're hammered. You know? You ever put too many beers in one day?
And it's all foreign people that are drinking it, like Ruben Hilt.
Oh, yeah. He's foreign. Or her.
Per K, Lassie K,
Mm-hmm.
Lila S.
Oh, Lila? Yeah.
Ricard. Not Richard, Ricard.
Ricard.
No, Ricard.
Yeah, Ricard.
Vidar.
Viacom.
Yes Body.
Yasmani.
Jen.
Ross.
Okay. So anyways, I didn't realize that this was Sweden. He's got some one-off, and I saw this on the floor, and he's like, yeah, just, and the price point he, again, gave.
Who this was from the guy who was selling beer?
Yeah.
Okay. The can art is good. It's so empty. I love it.
Well, that's meant to be the setting sun on the lake. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't know if you
that
said
makes
that.
sense. No, I didn't say that yet. It does make sense. I do.
We're not going to grade this beer, but you can if you want to.
In the amount of empty space there is in this can art, it really says a lot. Fatamorgana. Fatamorgana? Because there's an A in between the T and the M.
It's silent.
It's silent?
It's
okay.
Swedish.
Or distributed by 12%, Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, distributed.
That's just distributed, I know.
Yeah.
And then brewed and canned for one chicken by Dorchester. I know I'm saying that wrong probably, right? The Brits are going to kill me.
No, they won't come after you.
Brewing Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Product of the United States. Store cool and dark. Store cool and dark.
And that's what he did again with his.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I've only had one bad beer.
The Setting Sun.
So in the last 3 months, I've had one bad beer from Stev, and I've had one bad beer from Beer Steve.
Mm-hmm. And I was with you both times.
The one was the Glorious.
Mm-hmm.
Where from Lord Hobo, I told you about it last week.
Oh, you told me? The one that we had 2 weeks ago, didn't that have a problem?
No, that was the two labels where I mixed them up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But both those
beers were good.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one beer was dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
The one beer I opened. The beer that you opened was terrible. I don't know why you would have done that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this beer is excellent. It's excellent. I'm not going to rate it. I won't rate it. I love the can art. I would have bought this for the can. I would have at least looked at it.
Check your scores. See if because JT will put it on Untapped.
I'm going to put it on Untapped. I am today.
I'm glad we did one more beer. Stev, you have a beer waiting here for you.
There's always a beer waiting for you, Stev.
Oh, I mean, please, in my house, always.
Always.
Stev, might as well just call off the next couple of days.
What are your thoughts on the flavor?
Oh, it's delightful.
Do you feel like it should be darker? It should have a more. It shouldn't be so it's vibrant in color.
It's mellow. It's mellow. It matches the color.
Mellow. It matches the color. I don't think it does.
Mellows me out.
I think this beer should be more orange, less yellow. Ooh, silence.
Yep.
Is that one of the ones I can't hear? Yeah. So it's basically when I play it back, it's gonna say like JT sucks.
It's at the pitch that you'll never know.
Ooh, yeah, I can't hear most pitches.
I've got so many ideas now to put on here that I just need to put them on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't hear most pitches. So put them on there, silent, high pitch, post production.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We do so much post production.
Yeah, there's a lot. There used to be a lot. A lot of the ums. I still know what an looks like. I know that sounds like I'm on drugs, but when you're reviewing audio, it's sound waves, and I know what the looks like.
I feel like in our years that we've done this, we've self-edited quite a bit. I don't.
Yeah,
we don't use a lot of bridging language, do we?
No, I don't think so.
We have a lot of bridges, but
I think we do use that when we need to stall.
We do have pregnant pauses, which is a fine tool.
Right. It's a fine tool. Yeah.
There's
a joke there. There's a joke there, okay. But I don't have it. Pregnant pause. I like it.
Pregnant pause.
I like the word. I like the term.
Never be afraid of a pregnant pause. You're just gathering your thoughts.
The second that you give in to a pregnant pause, you've lost the conversation. If there's a winner and a loser, you don't want to be the guy who fills space, or guy or girl, person, who fills space with generic bullshit.
You always have to wait. Mm-hmm. Wait is why am I talking?
Especially if you're not if the
dropped an amazing fucking acronym there.
What was it?
Wait. Why am I talking?
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'll have to think about that. It is an amazing acronym. I don't have to think about that. I have to think about the always wait. Why am I talking? Yeah, I guess that's right. When a pregnant pause comes, don't fill it with bullshit.
You're going to ask me a bunch of questions? Is that what you were going to do?
Mm-hmm. Just do that. Have a soundboard at all times.
And that's the bottom line.
That's it. I like that you ended it there.
Oh, yeah. If I press the button...
Because earlier, there was a lot more there. Just a glorious time in wrestling history. What do you think the best promo in the wrestling history ever was? Was it the post King of the Ring, Stone Cold?
No.
What was it? Was it? You know what? I just recently. I know. Okay, if you hate wrestling, you probably don't want to hear it. I just recently watched the John Cena Roman Reigns conversation that took place, where John Cena just absolutely took Roman Reigns to school. About just not Roman Reigns froze.
Yeah.
That was great. And of all people, my older son doesn't give kind of two shits about any of this stuff. He watches it because we find it interesting. He brought it up to me. He was like, I just saw this conversation and John Cena schooled Roman Reigns.
Dusty Rhodes, because John Cena was allowed to go off mic a lot. You know, he had a lot more range than other wrestlers did in his especially during the Attitude Era.
Sure. During the Attitude Era, John Cena had more free range. I agree with you that he has more rights to go off.
The ruthless aggression. Yeah.
No, you have better history, so I was asking genuinely. I wasn't trying to stump the chump.
No.
I was asking genuinely.
I have an answer on my best promo.
Best promo, yeah.
Yeah, Dusty. So, are you saying best incident or best person? Because
no. Best one promo. Best singular promo.
Dusty Rhodes, Son of a Plumber.
Okay, I'll watch it.
I'm going to bring it up after we...
Yeah, we're going to watch it. I want to see it now. And I will say in the GIF era, in the era of Giphy, the app, which is amazing if you want to have the best GIFs, Macho Man takes the cake. He has the best GIFs.
A lot of his are bridged together, though.
They are.
But Dusty Rhodes elicited those feelings back during the Starrcade era that really just brought you into it. So... And again, he was just a fat guy. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
He couldn't rely on his physique.
I'll give him that. He was just a fat guy. Where Macho Man had a whole thing going on. He had a
major league baseball player. Converted into his dad's
glasses, the muscles.
His dad's
everything.
Territory was based out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, just awesome. Macho Man, awesome. Ooh. I wish he wouldn't have gone to WCW.
Well, the story behind that is well known because Vince didn't see him as an on-air talent anymore, and that's why he went to the commentary roles, stuff that you guys.
There's so much I need to learn about wrestling, but the one thing I know, I did watch the Ultimate Warrior thing, and he wasn't.
That's where
made for prime time.
That's where a lot of people, but he had that $1 million body.
Yeah. Running GIF, oh shit, it's awesome.
That's where a lot of those individuals were in the early 90s were insured by Lloyd's of London. So they were getting paid cash money to not wrestle.
Do they still do that?
No.
No.
Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig.
Rick Rude, wow. I never liked Rick Rude.
Oh my God. I'm just gonna end it now. We can't be friends anymore. Rick Rude was so good.
I'm sure he was good. No,
he had the ability to wear tights of the other wrestler's wife and go in there and call him sweat hogs. Another good promo, Rick Rude.
That's good. That sounds
As a
awesome.
scrawny guy, I mean, he was in shape. I mean, the guy had back when it wasn't, nutrition wasn't where it was. Like, he ate so clean, but...
Wow.
Anyways, we're going to go watch some wrestling promos. JT, take us home.
Well, that's episode 238. We've gotten through, I mean, we're talking like hundreds of thousands of hours here. We're just like, we're in it. Don't wear your tie too long. Don't wear a tooth belt. That's it.
And that's the bottom line, Costo.